real sit down and really ask ourselves the question, are pre-orders really worth it for resellers and buyers at this point in the sneaker game? So much for tuning in to this video. Hopefully you find this content awesome. If so, go ahead, give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Today we are definitely going to talk about pre-orders with the most coveted release coming out of this year, and that is the Air Jordan 11 Concord. We know it's the first time that this is coming back out since 2011 when all the madness and the mayhem happened, and I know that there are people doing pre-orders for the Concord 11 and so many other shoes. I mean, they were doing pre-orders for the Jordan 12 Bulls, and it's a common thing now within the sneaker community. There are pre-orders done for people to be able to either get pairs early or just make sure that they are kind of securing their pair prior to the release or for release day. And I understand there are justifications for this, but I'm just kind of asking a question, is it really logical now for, resellers and for buyers to be doing this? I just want to look at both sides of it, all right? So first off, let's just look at a pre-order itself. So you have an individual and they have access to a plug who can directly get them early pairs of a sneaker no matter what the brand is, all right? It can be Jordan, it can be Adidas, specifically Yeezy brand, Nikes, whatever it may be. They have a plug that provides them early access to a certain number of pairs, or maybe an unlimited number of pairs. I have no idea how great this plug is, really, how resourceful they are. But they're able to acquire early pairs, and then they can sell them with an upcharge to consumers that want to buy this shoe early. That way they have a profit worked in there, but I'm pretty sure a lot of times they need to also work in a profit for their plug because they're going out of their way to make sure that you as a pre-order individual, that you have pairs available to be able to sell to consumers that have a demand for the shoe. Usually, if you're going to place an order for a pre-order, of course, you're having to pay usually an upcharge on whatever the retail price is of this sneaker releasing, and then typically you also need to pay for shipping. That can vary, based on the carrier, or if you want overnight shipping, or if you don't care and you have like the long delayed shipping, 7 to 10 business days. It just really depends on how important this shoe is to you. Now, let's just look at two factors when it comes to pre-orders, because I'm going to be honest with you, they're not making a hell of a whole lot of sense to me lately when you look at how the market is kind of changing and evolving. Oversaturation is a really big thing that I think people need to take into consideration when they're looking at maybe doing a pre-order for a sneaker. Now, I say this because I think brands are missing the mark in terms of really hitting the demand, and maybe it has to do with their supply, but hitting the demand of what consumers are looking for or they're just dying to have. I mean, look at a lot of shoes that are not selling out and they do sit where you can still simply walk into a store and be able to pick them up. And one line that really does come to mind for a lot of things that have been releasing is the Jordan brand, the Tinker variations that they're coming out with. A lot of those sit. Like, yes, Tinker Hatfield is iconic when it comes to Jordan brand, but you're not necessarily really hitting big with the younger market and generation that they're looking to buy sneakers. That doesn't resonate with them the same way a lot of retro Jordans don't resonate with them. And not just looking at Tinker, let's look at some other things that tend to be oversaturated too. I mean, Adidas and the Ultra Boost, like, my goodness. How many colors are they going to release for the Ultra Boost? And then they brought back out other colors, and it's a lot. Like, guys, it is a lot. It's a lot. And then another thing, I think the hype dies down for shoes because people will automatically turn to look at StockX, and they'll be able to see what type of hype and resale is generated for these sneakers because they can see what the market is doing. If a shoe is releasing at $190 and they can see that, resale on StockX is really only, people are paying $200, maybe $220. Is that really worth it for you to dish out that money not to really make a whole lot or make anywhere from only 10 to 20 bucks back after you have to take care of fees and shipping? I don't really think so a lot of times. So, oversaturation, and people are able to look at the market to see what the hype is doing, and if it's not sustained, there's no resale. A lot of people are in it just for the resale. They're not necessarily in it to sit here and get the shoe, buy it, wear, that's just the reality of it is. Now, looking at this from a buyer's perspective, I think you just need to do your research. You really do need to take into account, do I want to spend that extra money? Because I won't lie to you, if there's, I don't care what it is, so let's just say there's a Nike sweatshirt, and let's say I buy it at the retail price of $50, and then all of 2 weeks later it goes on sale for like $35. Yeah, I'm a little peeved that I spent that extra $15 on this sweatshirt when I could have saved myself $15. So if I myself as a consumer, I would feel the exact same way when it came to a pre-order shoe. So, you know, let's look at the Concord that's coming out. You know, I'm a grade school, typically size 6 or size 6.5. So this shoe for me is going to retail at what, $170 plus tax. So let's just say $180. So $180 is what I know I'll pay retail. If I end up trying because I'm just so diehard to have this shoe, or I think that it's not going to sit, and I end up paying another $100 over, you know, because I mean, insanely, that's a lot of times that people might pay for a pre-order. They'll pay an extra $100 plus the shipping and everything else, and then come to find out that shoe is still sitting there, and I just wasted $100 to secure that I had this shoe. I'd be pissed. There's an opportunity cost for that, and there are more efficient things that I can do with my money outside of just that extra $100 going towards that shoe that I could get anyway. So from a buyer's perspective, I just think you definitely need to do your market research and understand a lot of times as we're moving forward within, you know, sneakers and how they're trending, pre-orders a lot of times just aren't necessary. When Jordans were super limited and Yeezys were super limited, I get that, I understand it, but for me now, it doesn't make a logical sense. From a person that wants to do pre-orders, hopefully you're just not losing out on money and time wasted with everything you're doing. I hope that you are turning a profit that is worth your while, because the way it's looking, I mean, the Jordan 12 Bulls, they said, I really do think with the Concords, I still think you're going to be able to walk into a store retail and be able to get that shoe, so I don't think a pre-order is necessary for that. It wasn't necessary for the Yeezy. I just don't think it's going to be necessary for a lot of, you know, shoes. I don't. And I think the market has shown us that with the number of pairs that sit. So just take this into consideration. All right? I really do think that you have to be smart about, you know, understanding the market, what you choose to do with your money, and the trends. I think you do have to look at that. So you guys can let me know, in terms of pre-orders, do you think that it is still beneficial for people to place pre-orders these days with the way the market is trending, with the high supply of sneakers and what seems to be a lower demand across the board in a lot of markets, even some major markets? Or do you think it's still, you know, a smart thing to do for buyers to place pre-orders? And then for someone that is considered the pre-order person, do you think there is still enough business or profit to be had for them, you know, to use that discretionary income to buy these sneakers early and then try to flip them and turn a profit? So let me know in the comment section. I would love to hear what you think. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If so, give it a thumbs up, go ahead and subscribe, and hopefully I will catch you guys at another time. Peace out.